one of the fastest reboots, Suicide Squad, it just came out into theaters. James Gunn is leading the way. Disney got rid of him. DC hired him, and they were like, do whatever you want, which they didn't allow the other Suicide director to do, but they allowed James Gunn to do. And then we got, spoilers, a giant starfish, sharks, and other fun, goofy characters, and a weasel/werewolf.
Embrace the weird. Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. Check out AsArt.space for the audio and video links for all of our content.
One thing that's great about James Gunn is his ability to embrace the weird. So like one of my favorite movies he's done, obviously it's like one of everyone's favorite movies, is Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Mm-hmm. And it was new, it was fresh. We had a tree, we had a walking talking tree. I'm sorry, not just a tree, we had a walking talking tree. We had a raccoon that was guns a-blazing. And we had a green person. We had a Drax is blue and red person. Purple person. Yeah, so it was just like so much fun. This fun, creative, wacky universe, and the colors. Oh my gosh, the colors used in the movie just totally pop, just like a comic book, you know, just really cool colors. And now DC let James Gunn do whatever he wants, and man, it was such a fun movie. It's not his best movie, but man, it was so much fun. I mean, anytime spoilers before I know we're gonna spoil this movie, John. Right, John? We're probably gonna spoil this movie.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
So we highly recommend you go to HBO Max and watch it, or go to a local theater because it's in theaters. And I believe it was filmed for IMAX. So if you have an IMAX
really
available,
push that hard. They push IMAX hardcore. Go back to the theaters. It's made for IMAX. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I was watching a video and like they said it for 5 minutes straight. I'm like, I got it, guys. Yeah, whatever.
I love seeing a movie in IMAX.
If there was ever a movie to go to the cinema to see, it is this one.
The scale of this thing is huge.
It's brought to the big screen in a way like it's never been done before. To create the Suicide Squad for IMAX specifically.
And it's definitely worth doing with good sound and a big screen and a big crowd.
For instance, Suicide Squad, unless you see it in the theater. To be able to see it in IMAX is the best way to see this film.
Okay, HBO Max, stream at home. It's like, whatever, okay.
But go support this movie because we want DC to give more power to the directors. As we saw with the Snyder Cut, we just want to see more of that. Did this catch you off guard? A guy that had polka dots that he was throwing, a shark that was eating almost his own teammates half the time, and a giant starfish letting tiny starfish out of his armpit.
Yeah, I will say the starfish and his armpit fish, whatever you want to call it, definitely caught me off guard. You know, I would say if we hadn't got the 2016 or 2015 Suicide Squad, this would have, I think, had even more impact, because the whole idea of it's not the Avengers, it's a group of misfits that are basically villains, but they're forced to do good. That was a really novel idea, at least for me, not being a comic reader. And so, at least as far as impact of novelty, the 2016 had a little bit more impact for me. But that being said, like you were saying, they did a really good job of like, polka dot man. All right, well, I guess. And then the werewolf weasel guy, like, I think definitely, like you're saying, embracing the weird made this a lot more enjoyable movie. And yeah, is it the best movie by him, or is it the best superhero movie? No, but it was a fun, different thing. Like when you think of the Deadpool movie that we got, that was fun because it was the first rated R superhero movie, and it was a much different type. It was kind of like it was crude and crass and things like that, but it was a different thing. Yeah. This is not quite that, because we already had the original Suicide Squad, but this was still a very fun installment as far as how they approach things.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool is like Marvel really can't do this now. Marvel has a formula that it's like Star Wars now, right? Like if they go off the formula too far, fans are gonna get angry, rah 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 rah, you know, burn down Marvel and Disney, rah rah rah, you know, kind of thing. Where DC has a great opportunity right now. They can almost reinvent themselves with like cool directorial styles, and you know, let Zack Snyder go at it, and you know, just let directors have fun with this world, because comic books are fun. There's wacky characters like Polka Dot Man to, you know, the weirdest like Javelin. Oh my gosh, can we talk about how James Gunn actually embraced the name Suicide Squad? Like literally, I mean, and he did such a good job. Like, we were actually connected to the first team. He did a good job on the plane where they're like interacting and the battering going on where they're like joking around with each other and like, I don't want to sit by a werewolf. Oh, they're like freaking out. It's like, ah, ha, ha. They're like laughing and all this stuff. And then, whoa, it's like D-Day on when they get off the thing. It's just like, oh my God.
I was laughing because of like the first crew. I was thinking to myself, I don't remember any of these guys from the trailer. What's going on here? And then it was a fun way to start a movie, and it's just seeing, okay, when superheroes go wrong, you know what happens.
Wait,
that was kind of a fun thing.
I feel like they used most of these guys in the trailer too.
Did they use them?
Yeah, because I think at the beginning, like when they were in the jail and stuff, and they were like walking with the flag. So to me, I'm like, whoa! Like I was shocked because I remember seeing certain guys, and they brought back the actor from Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, the guy who's all in blue and has the red stripe on his head. Yondo, I think is his name in the Marvel movies, but he's the guy with the long white hair where he tries to run away. And so it's cool just guy. Like, it's just so cool. Like, they did such a, I mean, just the weasel dying right away from drowning.
The weasel was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like, oh, this movie's going to be good. And then it didn't quite live up to what I was hoping for, but he was a funny, fun character. And everybody was just blown away. Like, how did they get all of these big name actors and actresses for this movie? And it's like, okay, well, it's definitely lived up to the name. They're dying left and right, but in Suicide Squad, but it fit the idea that these are expendable soldiers or whatever you want to call them, and it served the intent of the movie really well.
Yeah, I mean, even Polka Dot Man wasn't safe. I mean, the shark survived, which is a fun character. I mean, he was just he was like the Groot of the group kind of thing, you know, baby language, you know, barely communicating kind of thing, like you know, friend. Each friend, it's like, no, what are you doing? But there was some fantastic action sequences. I think one of my favorite action sequences was when they were like storming the camp to save the U.S. Marine or whatever that guy was, the intelligence officer. I don't even know what the character's name is, but I love how they do this amazing where we get to see their powers in display and all this cool stuff. You're like, oh, this is cool. They're starting to work as a team, and then they like killed the wrong team. I was like, I was busting up. That was so...
They rescued you, huh? All right. Why did my men not let me know you were coming? No reason. We didn't see any. We didn't see them. You know.
I thought that was so good, and there was a lot of things I liked. Obviously, was there anything, John, that didn't hit your standards as a good movie, or that you were disappointed by, or overall?
You know, I think we've talked about this in a lot of different films that we've reviewed on here. For me, if I'm not expecting much, then I tend to have a really good time. If I'm expecting a lot, then it's a lot harder. I had heard a lot of good things about this, so I think going in, I was kind of expecting more than I should. That being said, I really liked the quirky characters. Like, I thought Polka Dot Man was pretty funny. I thought, you know, Ratcatcher 2 was a fun character. Really, the main characters that we focused on a lot more. I guess we did focus on Ratcatcher 2, you know, quite a bit. Yeah. But like Polka Dot Man, those were my favorite. The shark guy, not only was he all CG, but he and fit into the shots perfectly as far as visual effects, but he was just a fun, silly character, and his little scenes by himself. The one thing I don't particularly like about these big assembly superhero movies is everybody gets their little side story. You can tell, oh, now here's Shark Guy's, you know, moment. Now here's, you know, this person's moment. Now here's Ratcatcher 2's moment. That feels a little bit contrived because everybody has to have their moment, but at the same time,
you need it right?
Yeah, well, you have to. But the cool thing about the early Avengers movies is they didn't really have to do that because they all had their own movies at that point. Yeah. They already established as characters we liked. The later Avengers movies, they all had their moments. So, but at that point, you had so many characters, you kind of had to split it up like that.
Well, I mean, let's look at The Hobbit, though, right? There was a big cast of guys, but I can't tell you which Hobbit was which and which one was connected to both. And that was over 3 movies.
And we love The Hobbit too. We love the story of The Hobbit. And I know who Thorin is. That's about it. You know,
who's he? Okay, we're talking about characters, and we can't leave out any. What about Milton?
Milton, the character, he's fine. Milton's death conversation, great. You know?
And I also liked how they really explored Harley Quinn's like chaotic side, because like in the other movies she's play out to be such a good guy most of the time, or you know, it's like, oh, you know, because she's like a hero kind of thing, because she's like a name brand, and like Birds of Prey, she's like a hero. That's a movie that they did just with her and like the group. And then in this one you could tell like she's psycho. And I love it so much because it feels more comic book Harley Quinn than the other ones, and I really liked how they embraced that with Harley Quinn.
I haven't seen Birds of Prey. Obviously I saw the 2015-16 Suicide Squad, and she seemed like she was a little bit more front and center, the person they focused on a lot more. Maybe I'm just not remembering that correctly. At least in the trailer, they showed her a lot more. In this, I liked that she was just another part of the cast. She wasn't front and center. I mean, obviously, she wasn't the main character, and they did focus on some a little bit more, but it's cool. It was truly an ensemble cast in that regard.
John, we're going to briefly talk about the effects really quickly. We're thinking about doing a VFX breakdown. Let us know down in the comments if you would like us to do that. We love doing it anyways and stuff. We love talking about it, but we're just going to talk about it briefly here. Were you impressed at all? Like, did you think it was good for a DC movie?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the effects looked great. I mean, no matter how good the effects are, a walking starfish with a big eye is not going to look real, but obviously that's the fun of it. It's like, how ridiculous is that? I didn't know. I know this is a character, the big baddie that they announced a while ago. I didn't know that. So when this thing came out and was walking around, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? I had no idea what to expect. It all looked really, really good, especially the shark. I mean, I never thought of him as a CG adding character. He was just there as a character in the shots.
Yeah, that's a very good point too. Yeah, he blended in perfectly with the world.
If you had a real shark walking around on land, I would be absolutely terrified. Oh my gosh.
Or are you scared of rats though? Because there were a lot of rats in this movie.
I'm not as bad as Indiana Jones or our main character in this movie, but you know what? I've had pet rats growing up, so that's fine. But them crawling all over, wow, that was pretty crazy.
And how cool was that at the end? Taika Waititi?
Yeah,
at the end, being the dad. I was like, oh, that's so fun.
He has been a standout, not just for directing, but just acting lately, too.
Yeah.
I forgot what movie it was that just came out, but they're like, he's the runaway star in this. Oh, it's the new Ryan Reynolds movie.
Free Guy?
Yeah, Free Guy. Yeah. He's the villain in that movie. He's supposed to be great in it. But yeah,
cool.
He's really done great roles.
He's fun, man. He's fun, dude.
Yeah,
you can tell he enjoys his work and he really loves it. And I can't wait to see more from him too. I'm really excited. Yeah. James Gunn, I would love to see more James Gunn. I love the way he incorporates music into his movies. Like he's not just throwing a song on there. It's incorporated with the scene. Like Harley Quinn singing it, and then it goes into the action of it, and it's playing, and she's like hitting it, and she's like in her own world where it's not like the music's trying to tell us what to do. We're just a part of the scene. You know what I mean? I think there's even another scene with Harley Quinn too, when she's like going on all the dates and stuff, and then finally it cuts back to them on the couch, and the music's just playing on the radio in the room, and it's just like, that's so cool. I love little stuff like that. It really reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Remember how they're like listening to the music and stuff inside, and then it goes into like full on where you hear it, but then it goes back into the scene where they're just flying a ship and you hear it's in the background. I love that stuff. It's not like just let's just slap a Rolling Stone song here because everyone loves that one song. It's like, no, he's so good with his soundtracks. He's so good. Like even Johnny Cash at the beginning, like I just thought that was so wholesome prison or whatever. It's like, that's so cool. Like great job with your soundtracks. I really enjoyed it.
He's almost like Quentin Tarantino in that he picks out. I mean, yeah. Quentin Tarantino picks more abstract music, I would say, but it serves the
or Wes Anderson.
Yeah, Wes Anderson too. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of fun music too within his scenes and all that too. It's the soundtrack makes all the difference sometimes, doesn't it?
It can for sure. Yeah.
Oh, did you prefer this or the Zack Snyder cut?
Man, they're really different movies. I mean, the Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut of Justice League are way different. As crazy as it is, I liked the long 4-hour Snyder Cut. Yeah, I thought it was fun.
He does like long movies though. Like one of his favorite movies is my favorite long movies. Ewok movie.
No, not Godfather Apocalypse Now.
No. Ewok's Caravan of Courage.
That's not right.
One of John's favorite videos. Subscribe. You can hear John's review on how much he loves that movie, and it's his top 2, or was it top 5? Top 5. It's in his top 5.
Yeah, the Ewok Adventure and the Godfather next to each other in
Well,
cinematic
it's
history.
practically
Oh.
the same movie, though, right? Because
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
the Ewoks going, and then you have the.
Yes, we're very interested. Nick and I were mixed a little bit more. I was a little bit skeptical going in. Nick really enjoyed this and was excited about it. Did you feel, how did it stack up to the older version? Do you think they needed another Suicide Squad movie this quickly? A lot of people have been calling for the original Suicide Squad. He wants to do his director's cut. Do you think that's needed, or do you think that's
Release
way
the
too
cut.
much?
Release the cut. I'll take more content any day.
Let us know down below. Check out AsArt.space, the audio and video links for all of our content. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Embrace the weird.